Hello, Ambush, and welcome to this week's episode of the Desert Tiger Podcast, here with me, Colton G, and this week on the show, I am joined by Bear Rinehart of Need to Breathe, and we're going to be talking all about their new album, Out of Body. Yes, Out of Body is Need to Breathe's first album in 4 years, and 4 years is quite a bit of time for people to grow and for, quite a bit of change as well. A lot of the members of the band are now fathers. The band is also releasing this album. It is their first album through their new record label, Elektra, and this also happens to be Need to Breathe's first release without a member, Bo Rinehart, who recently departed from the group. Bo not only is Bear's brother, but also a powerful songwriting companion. So what has it been like moving forward without him? Who have been some of the people that Bear has been teaming up with to continue writing music? And of course, the release plans for this album had to shift with the whole worldwide situation. So what has it been like releasing this album under this whole circumstances? We're also going to be talking about a few of the singles off of Out of Body. We're going to be talking about their song, their tribute to the powerful women in their lives. That, of course, is Banks. We're also going to be talking about another powerful track entitled Hang On. We're going to be talking about the music video for that song as well, which they filmed under social distancing guidelines, which must have been fun. We're also going to dive a little bit into Wilder Woods, a project that Bear started in 2019, a solo project. How has it allowed him to explore and express himself that maybe Need to Breathe hasn't allowed him to do? All of this and more in today's conversation. And it's all brought to you today by DesertTigerMerch.com, because that's the best place where you can go ahead and support the podcast by grabbing yourself some gear and repping the show everywhere you go. And now, with that being said, I feel it's about time we played one of those singles that we're going to be talking about today on this show before we jump into this conversation with Bear. So this is Banks.
I wanna be there when the voices in your head are loud enough to make you lose your mind. But just the same, when you're dominating the day, I wanna be the one who's by your side. You know my love is not the jealous type. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. Oh, I can stay or I can come, no matter where you're coming from. I can be the one to let you choose. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, just like the banks to the river. And if you ever feel like you are not enough, I'm gonna break all your mirrors. I wanna be there when the darkness closes in, to make the truth a little clearer. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, I'll be the banks for your river. For your river, be the banks for your river. You are beautiful and wild at every turn. Who am I to take control of that? But everybody needs a voice they can follow when the water and the winds get bad. You know my love is not the jealous type, and it don't matter if we win or lose. I can push or I can pull, no matter what you're trying to do, as long as I can flow along with you. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, just like the banks to the river. And if you ever feel like you are not enough, I'm gonna break all your mirrors. I wanna be there when the darkness closes in, to make the truth a little clearer. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, I'll be the banks for your river. I'll be the banks for your river. I'll be the banks for your river. Baby, I ain't saying that you need my help, but you don't have to do it all by yourself. So baby, when the current gets strong, you need somewhere to rest your bones. I wanna be there for you, I wanna be strong for you. Oh, I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, just like the banks do the river. And if you ever feel like you are not enough, I'm gonna break all your mirrors. I wanna be there when the darkness closes in, to make the truth a little clearer. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, be the banks for your river. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, I'll be the banks for your river. And if you ever feel like you are not enough, I'll be the banks for your river. I wanna be there when the darkness closes in, to make the truth a little clearer. I wanna hold you close but never hold you back, I'll be the banks for your river.
The Desert Tiger Podcast.
Hello, Bear. How's it going?
Good, man.
All right, we're going to be talking about your guys' new album, Out of Body, as well as a few other things. So are you ready to jump into it?
Let's do it.
All right. So, looking into things, when this whole worldwide situation had started, you guys were actually in the studio in Nashville putting the finishing touches on Out of Body. So, normally when you guys come out of a studio, get ready to release an album, the process is get ready to go on a tour, do that sort of thing. But this time you had a lot more downtime. So, what has it been like dealing with a little bit of a change up from what you're used to over the last 15, 16 years?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. It was at first a very creative time for me. You know, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if we'd be able to tour or not. And I ended up writing a ton of songs, and it was kind of a comforting place for me to just kind of hide away in my studio a little bit. And like you said, we had this whole tour planned, and we're a big production band. So like there was all these new, screens and all this stuff that we were going to use, and all these ideas, and so it was a bummer, to be honest with you. It just, I mean, I know that's an understatement for what this is that we're going through, but just, we think a lot about the live show while we're making a record, so it sort of forced us to pivot a little bit and give us some time at home, and I think all of us could use that time. It's been so long since any of us, it's like you said, 15, 20 years since we've been at home like this, so our families probably are ready for us to leave. But other than that, it has been really good, and I've described it like a house of mirrors. It's interesting how I think you come home for this long, and some things that you didn't want to deal with, you are sort of forced to, and it feels like that's been a good thing in my house, anyways.
Okay, so it's definitely allowed you to spend a little bit of more time with your family and maybe work on some things that being on the road doesn't allow one to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think the road is not real in a lot of ways. It's we live out of suitcases, and people tell you you're great every day. That's just not how the real world is. And so I think we get a little bit soft over time. You kind of like rely on a lot of people to do things for you, and so it's nice to kind of get back into things around the house, and just I think remember how rewarding some things like that can be.
Okay, fantastic. So, of course, this wasn't the only change that came in with this album. You guys are also taking on a new record label with Elektra, and also the departure of one of your greatest songwriting partners through the career of the band, your brother Bo. So a few changes there. What has it been like going through those shifts as well?
Yeah, it's been weird to say the least. I think we knew going into working on this record that my brother was leaving. I think we probably had a little more time to think about it and grieve it before than the fans did. I think that was really tough for them to hear, and we knew it would be that way because it's such an important part of what we've always done. And it was a good time for us because we got into the studio and really sort of relied on each other. And we were like, look, if we're going to do this, this is the way we're going to have to do it. And it gave us some confidence, I think, coming out of the studio that we can do it. And it's different, but it's something we're really proud of.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And of course, it's also been 4 years in between Out of Body, this new album, and possibly your highest charting, one of your highest regarded albums, Hard Love. So that's a lot of time for individuals to grow as well. So how do you feel that you yourself and the band have grown over those 4 years, and how have you put that growth, that time, these experiences into this new record?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot. I mean, for me, I've got two really young kids, and so this is the first time I've had kids around while I was writing for a record, and I think that definitely had an impact on it. Just the way I see them live life. They kind of walk. I've got two little boys, so they just walk in every room naked with their arms out and ready to just have no insecurities, and they're so vulnerable and ready to roll. And I think that's something that I admire and jealous of. And this record has a lot of those, I think, sentiments in it of about sort of attacking life in that way and trying to do that more often. And so there's definitely that. I think I moved to Nashville a couple of years ago, so I've been here for a little bit, but definitely the relationships I've made here. There's so many talented people, and this record ended up being a very Nashville-centric record. And so I think that was a huge part of it, the sort of team we put together to make the record and the players we brought in, and it felt like family to me, to be honest, and it was a really great experience.
Okay, awesome. So before you went into the studio, you guys spent a week in Charleston to sort of gather your thoughts. How important was that week for the band?
I think it's really important. We've learned the longer we do this, the element, that you just can't put back together is when you first started a band, you're kind of in a garage. No one's asking you any questions, so you're just talking to each other, I think there's an element of just kind of wanting to get back to those moments, and so we really had to be, in my opinion, intentional about that. We kind of had to go look, we're going away for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and we're not taking the phones. We're going to just get back to the garage band days. And we spent so much time in vans, before you're ever in a bus, so you're always having a conversation in the band every night about the show and what's going to happen next and all that. And you get into a bus, and next thing you know, everybody's sleeping. So I think just making that time to really be a band, is so important.
Because if it's constantly work, sometimes that takes away from the relationship that you guys have built from each other, and maybe sometimes even create some tension. So being able to take the time to clear your minds and get your thoughts out and just have a little bit of fun is always good.
Yeah, for sure. And I think communication, obviously, in any relationship is important, obviously. But in bands, it is kind of like the shorthand. The more you're around each other, the easier it is to communicate. The faster you kind of, an idea, everybody knows where the idea came from because they've been living with you, while you were being inspired. And I think that's really important.
First touch of summer, she's got your t-shirt on. Sun's going down, school's out, stars are coming on. You can rewind it, but you can't ever feel like you do tonight. Make a move in your mind, but don't rush it. Boy, you're about to see the light. So hang on to the light in your eyes and the feeling. Hang on Hang on to your love drunk original reasons. 'Cause all these things take time, these things they take time. And all these things I've learned, it's never a straight line. So hang on to the light in your eyes and the feeling. So hang on to your love drunk original reason. So hang on to the small town you love but you're leaving. Oh, you won't be a fool for so long. So hang on.
The Desert Tiger Podcast.
So I want to talk about a couple of the singles that have released for this new album, for the hyping up for the release of it. You talked about tackling some of the challenges of life and getting through them. And one of the songs that I feel definitely tackles that topic is Hang On, a song that a lot of your fans are definitely connecting with. So take us behind the scenes of Hang On.
Yeah, it's when I was saying the stuff about the kids and looking back, and like I really thought about my life and these experiences that you have, whether it's like your first kiss or all this kind of first time you drive a car, all these things are like, this really special place in your mind, and you think of them in such a magical way. And I really was kind of getting under the hood on those thoughts, for lack of a better word, just thinking like, what was it about them? And I really feel like, it was the vulnerability and the excitement of it being new and you being open to it. I think over the years, a lot of people put up a lot of armor. We've got a lot of scars that they're bringing into relationships and to experiences. And I was just wanted to write a song about that. Like, it doesn't matter if it's, if it happened to you when you're 16 or when you're 50, whatever, it can still be a beautiful experience and a surprising one and a life-changing one. And really that's what the song's about.
Awesome, and you definitely had to take on a few challenges in order to get the music video for this song done, of course it being filmed during this worldwide pandemic situation. So what was it like to have to do the music video for Hang On, following social distance guidelines, everyone has to wear a mask and all of that fun stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like everything else in life right now. It's just really weird. Maybe some things you get used to, but I feel like we've made so many music videos over the years. That was the most, challenging in that way. So, it's just kind of crazy. It's tougher on the crew for sure. You've got guys, carrying steady cams around their weight, 80 pounds or something like that, wearing a mask and all that. But when we got in there, it felt good to be around each other. We have, on the Hang On video, we're all kind of like distanced in a way, but we're also playing our instruments and looking at each other for the first time in a long time, and just felt really great. Even though obviously you're faking on music videos, it's great to feel like, okay, this is what we do.
Mm-hmm. Even just have some form of semblance to that feeling once again of, oh yeah, no, this is what we used to do before everything shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right, awesome. Another song I definitely want to jump into was the 5th single that released off of the album, that being Banks. It's a song that's definitely about the women in your lives, and obviously we talked about how being home, maybe you're around those women a lot more, but when you're on the road, they're what's keeping a lot of the behind the scenes together. So take us behind the scenes of Banks.
Yeah, it's I mean, my wife used to use this phrase when we first got married, that she said, your job is to cage in the crazy. And I always was like, well, I don't like cages. That's not the idea of this. She just meant that, when she gets, emotional or whatever it is, and I think we both treat each other that way. But I really got to thinking about that phrase, like, there's got to be a better way to say what she's saying. And I've got a wife who's a I don't have more than one. I've only got the one. But my wife is, sounded like I was like, I've got a couple wives in different states. So, but she is she's a nurse practitioner and just really strong and independent and definitely smarter than me. So I wanted to write a song about that, like I'm here to help support, and not necessarily get in the way. But when you need it, I'm here.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess she's probably definitely been on the front lines for a lot of this situation as well. So she's maybe needed a little bit of that help during these moments too.
Yeah, I think everybody, I think it's a really tough thing in relationships. I mean, you feel you don't want to need somebody, all this, but there's going to come a time when you really can use that support, and I think being vulnerable enough for that is also a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So in 2019, you actually released some solo music under the moniker Wilder Woods. So what was it like to take the decision to make Wilder Woods, and what does Wilder Woods allow you to release, to express that maybe Need to Breathe doesn't necessarily do so?
Yeah, it was really fun, to be honest. I mean, I like the fact that it was the first time in a long time I was doing it, not necessarily like a job. I mean, I think obviously the band, I love the band, I love being in it, but it's also has become my livelihood, and it was kind of refreshing to play some music where it's like, I'm probably not going to make any money on this, and it's not a means to an end,
Mm-hmm.
And I got to collaborate with a lot of people. I mean, being in a band, we're a unit, and so you might bring in a guitar player here and there, but it's mostly we rely on ourselves. But I wanted to play with some other musicians that were from different genres and just kind of see what that looked like and felt like. And honestly, it was really fun, and it ended up pouring a lot of inspiration, I think, back into Need to Breathe. Like when I got done with that, touring it, I immediately had songs that I wanted the band to cut, So it was really good for me. I think also it's inevitable when you have a band that's been around this long and have fans that really love it. It can feel a little bit like the train has left the station, like you don't own it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
The fans kind of own it, which I think is awesome. And I'm super happy and proud of that. But at the same time, you're like, man, I want to go somewhere I don't know if these people would like it or not. And so that was freeing for me.
Okay, fantastic. So definitely saying that's taking a little bit of a risk. So how do you feel the reception was from Wilder Woods? Because I feel like a lot of your audience who definitely follows you very adamantly, they're very big fans of you. How do you feel that they were receptive to this album?
It was interesting. I think I don't know what I expected. I did not think many of our fans would like it, to be honest with you. And honestly, I don't think all of them do. I didn't make the Wilder Woods record for maybe a person who was a Need to Breathe fan. Saying that, it was really fun to go tour it. I saw a lot of people that I recognized, obviously, are fans of the band. And so I definitely think there's a portion of this audience that really got it and got into it. But it was really fun for me also to see kind of a new audience develop. I mean, I had a song with a DJ, with Wilder Woods that did great. And it's like, that's something the band probably wouldn't necessarily do. So it was cool to see, where there were pockets where it was like, it really felt like new fans and people who had never heard of me before.
So going back to Need to Breathe, obviously with tours having to be canceled and you guys having to have postponed the Need to Breathe Classic, what exactly do you feel the rest of 2020 looks like for the band?
We're getting creative with some charity things we're going to do, which I'm excited about, just trying to keep them very small and or online or whatever we can do. We're doing a live stream that I'm pretty pumped about the day the record comes out, August 28th. And, it's going to be more than kind of a live stream, I guess. Like, they come in all forms and sizes, I guess, but it's going to be us rehearsing and kind of looking at each other more than we're looking at, the camera and talking to the camera directly. So I feel like it's going to kind of allow people into a jam session with us, which is very scary but awesome. So I think there'll be some mistakes and really cool stuff that happen, but we're going to play through the whole new record. And it's really just a way for us to kind of, I feel like, properly release the record and have a celebration with the fans.
Okay, so rather than the classic, we're going to be on stage facing the crew. We're going to be a little bit more intimate and interactive with this sort of jam session type experience.
Yeah, that's the idea. So I think it'll be warts and all, but I think it'll be fun for people to see kind of, the way we interact with each other, when the microphones are not on, I guess. So I think it should be cool.
Awesome. I definitely think it should be a wonderful experience as well. And the Ambush should definitely go and check it out, buy some tickets, and support the band. All right, Bear. Thank you so much for joining me today to tell us all about Out of Body.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And I hope that you, the Ambush, appreciated this conversation with Bear Rinehart of Need to Breathe. And you can hear both of the songs that you heard on today's episode, that being Banks and Hang On. You can hear both of them, plus the entirety of their new album, Out of Body. Yes, that's right, it is on your favorite music streaming service. It is that easy. You go out there, you stream it, you love it, you share it with your family and your friends, and well, you just show your appreciation for Need to Breathe. And with that being said, I need to show a little bit of appreciation to a Bear. One last time, one last roaring DTP. Thank you for joining me on today's episode to tell us all about this new album. And I have to go ahead and thank Sam over at Strut Entertainment for hooking the whole thing up. And last but not least, it is you, the mighty loyal Ambush, for tuning in once again. Yes, and if you're new, if this is your first time tuning in, maybe you want to join the Ambush. It is as easy as hitting subscribe on your favorite podcast listening service. You can also support the show by reviewing us on Stitcher and Apple Podcasts with a big old 5 stars. That would help us out a whole lot. You can also share this show. It's as easy as taking a screenshot, sharing that image, and tagging me, Colton G, the Desert Tiger Podcast, or Bear Rinehart and Need to Breathe, so that we can show you some love for doing so. Yes, it is that easy. You can also go and get a shirt at DesertTigerMerch.com. Alright, next week on the show, we are joined by Mr. Zero and David Diamond of the Kings, as we talk about the 40th anniversary of their album, The Kings Are Here, and their hit double single, This Beat Goes On, switching to Glide. And I hope that you don't switch to Glide for the rest of this week as you go out there, put your paws in the sand and chase your dreams, find your desert oasis, your mountaintop, whatever it happens to be that makes your heart scream and sing, because it's beautiful and it deserves to be heard. And until next week, bye-bye, and stay beautiful. Yeah.